Drivers cautioned against indiscriminate loading. Anambra Police Command alerts public on military impersonators on roads. Farmers seek protection against Boko Haram insurgents this planting season. U.S. cautions North Korea on UN resolutions on missile test. Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on ABS Television. My name is Priska Wanko, and now the news in detail. Anambra State Government says it is committed to ensuring that loading and unloading of vehicles are done inside designated parks. The Commissioner for Transport, Mr. Uchenna Okafo, disclosed this in an interview with the ABS in Oka. Ekwi Ajide has the reports.
The commissioner who expressed disgust that despite government's efforts in ridding the streets of all sorts of ills, including illegal collection of tolls, street trading, loading and unloading along the roads, many are still persistent in the act, reminding such perpetrators that loading and unloading along the road is against the laws of the state. He disclosed that in a bid to ensure that such loading and unloading at Egerton Street is stopped, his office provided a park for bus drivers in the area, as loading on the streets constitutes nuisance and cause untold hardship to the neighborhood and passers-by. He disclosed that in order to curb illegal toll collection, his office equally disbanded the Tricycle Drivers Union, which was fingered as culpable, saying that it is criminal to collect money from vulnerable citizens without due remittance to state coffers.
The problem we have in Anambra is that if you move out those street traders by 1 o'clock from one location, while you're in another location, moving other people, the people you moved out at one location are already back to the street again. You chase them while going up. When you're coming back to the same street, on your way back, you see them again. So what they do is that whenever they see you, they start running. So, but we've succeeded in putting down structures that will checkmate them. The cost of enforcement, if we gain compliance willingly, it will be cheaper for the state. But to enforce rules and regulations of the state is another problem, because in civilized world, people obey government policies without enforcement.
In his reaction, the Transition Committee Chairman of Onitsha North Local Government Area, Mr. Anambra, confirmed the provision of a park for buses loading along Egerton Street, but gave proximity of two big markets, Onitsha Main Market and also Okwodo, as the reason for the influx of vehicles in the area, especially in the evening.
What we see in the evening at Egerton is not only people loading in Egerton, because of the heavy market very close to that place. In fact, Egerton is just a last bus stop to Main Market. So every other vehicles always come, passing through that Egerton, because of at that evening time that market always Ose, and we have two big markets there, Ose and Egerton. So that is a major problem, causing traffic issue at that Egerton.
According to the manager of Omabala Park, Mr. Samuel Ozekwe, constant loading and unloading along the streets means bad business for them, but they adhered to government's directive and moved into the parks, while a driver, Chief Obu Mudane, and a passerby, Mr. James Side, cautioned passengers against boarding vehicles outside the park, saying they may lose their valuables without recovery. Ekwi Ajide, ABS News.
The State Ministry of Trade, Commerce and Wealth Creation has restated its readiness to rid the state of illegal revenue collectors. The Commissioner for Trade and Commerce, Dr. Christian Madabuko, stated this at Government House, Oka, when his men paraded one Mr. Ignatius Imenogo from Imo State, who was allegedly collecting tolls at Ibariam Junction, and Mr. John Nemena, caught at Ukulu, while indulging in the same acts. Amaka Chibuzo Okoye is our guide.
Dr. Madubuko noted that despite state government sensitization and warning, some hoodlums are still diverting government funds, even as he said that they will not relent in arresting culprits. He stated that many of them courts have been charged to court, warning those who are still in such act to desist, as they will deal decisively with anyone caught in the act.
I want to assure Anambra that the state government will not go to sleep until these people are flushed out of the states.
The task force commander, anti-illegal toll collection, Mr. Nathan Obikwelu, called on the public to give them useful information about those still engaging in the act so as to apprehend and charge them to court.
We are asking the general public to continue giving us more information about the activities of these hoodlums. So we'll continue arresting them. And we have been given our number, 080-3783-5358.
Amaka Chibuzo Okoye, ABS News.
The Anambra State's command has cautioned the public to be wary of military impersonators on roads, as criminals have evolved new means of abducting unsuspecting victims. A report made available to the ABS disclosed that some victims were recently rescued and some suspects arrested over alleged kidnapping and impersonation at Ekulobia. Details and more on this report from our studio.
According to the report, the suspects were all dressed in military uniforms when they were rounded off by police operatives. It stated that further investigation revealed that one of the suspects, Ojebwe Obinna, is currently serving in the Nigerian Army as a last corporal attached to the 101 Special Battalion, Meduguri, Borno State, was dressed in full military gear, and others, Obasi Peter, Benjamin Nicholas, and Okoye Ugochukwu, wore military vests. The report said that at Ogidi, police operatives attached to Operation Puff Adder and the Ogidi division of the police force rescued a victim who was flagged down and abducted by criminals dressed in military vests and caps, and that efforts are currently on to arrest the fleeing suspects. It advised the public to be careful when flagged down by men or women in military or even police uniforms, and should observe carefully to note the legality of a checkpoint, adding that every legal checkpoint is easily identified by their patrol vehicle and static points. It restated that government of Anambra State, under the leadership of Governor Willie Obiano and the Anambra State Police Command, are firmly committed to the fight against crime and criminality, and advise the people to call the command's emergency number 0703-919-4332 to report any suspicious activity.
The traditional ruler of Enugu, Igwe Raf Ekpe, has commended Governor Willie Obiano for motivating and boosting the morale of Anambra workers. Igwe Ekpe was speaking in his palace at Enugu while reacting to the recent award of commendation presented to the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Anambra Broadcasting Service, Chief Uche Nwora, by Governor Willie Obiano. Correspondent Valentine Mbadoha is standing by.
While commending the governor for recognizing and acknowledging dedication, hard work, and commitment to service, Igwe Ekpe noted that such act encourages employees at any level to improve in their output, stressing that it is a common principle with great positive impact, and assured the governor that Enugu will always support his administration in all ramifications. Igwe Ekpe, while congratulating Chief Nwora for the honor, charged him to strive towards greater inputs, as according to him, to whom much is given, much is expected. He called on other public office holders to emulate him to help enthrone a better and improved Anambra State.
I salute our governor. I thank him wholeheartedly on behalf of Enugu people. What he has done to my subject, Chief Uche Nwora, he has done it to Enugu people as a whole, and I'm the embodiment of Enugu people. So I want to assure the governor that the Enugu people are happy with what he has done.
On the prompt arrest of the suspected killers of late Chief Frank Ibuka of Nimo, among other crime-busting exploits, Igwe Ekpe commended the governor for fulfilling his promise to reward those that aided the arrest. The royal father expressed hope that the government will tighten the security of the state to ensure that Anambra remains the safest state in the country. Igwe further lauded the government's dispatch in issuance of certificates to new traditional rulers, noting that it will strengthen community leadership as, according to him, strong community leadership will help sustain government developmental policies and as well protect public facilities situated in all communities across the state. Reacting on the new law by Anambra State Assembly to check excessive spending during funerals, Igwe, who lauded the new law, however, felt the lawmakers did not seek wide opinion of the traditional rulers, noting that communities, the church, and the traditional rulers are the real people that will help in its enforcement.
The government of Obiano is humane. It's a listening government. Otherwise, you could delay anybody's appointment by the community for 1 year, for 2 years, for 3 years. You don't do him anything. But he's responsive.
On this part, the Palace Secretary, Chief Frank Nwokike, while congratulating Chief Ngora on the special recognition, noted that this is an honor well deserved, adding that Anambra Broadcasting Service has improved commendably in the content to become one of the best radio and television stations in the country. He thanked the management, which has Chief Uche Ngora as the head.
I can conveniently say today that Anambra State Broadcasting Service is one of the best media stations in Nigeria. So for having Uche Ngora to be commended some few days ago, I think Uche Ngora deserves it.
From the palace of the traditional ruler of Enugu, Valentine Mbadowa reporting for ABS News.
Some farmers in Borno State have called for deployments of military and other security personnel to farmlands to protect them against attack by Boko Haram insurgents this cropping season. They also called for modern preservation technologies to enhance processing and reduction in damage to agricultural produce. A cross-section of the farmers made the call in separate interviews with newsmen, including Malam Ali Buka, a beans grower at Kayamla Plantation, said the call was imperative to protect them from attack by the insurgents. Buka alleged that the insurgents had recently coordinated attacks against farmers and loggers, a trend which forced most of them to abandon their farmlands. Alhaji Muhammad Hassan, the chairman of Rice Farmers Association, Refan, Zabal Mari community in Jere local government area, added that proactive measures were necessary to encourage farmers to cultivate their lands during the season. United States National Security Advisor John Bolton called a series of shunt-rate missile tests by North Korea earlier this month a violation of UN Security Council resolutions and said sanctions must be kept in place. The U.S., however, is willing to resume talks with North Korea at any time. Bolton said Washington's position on the North's denuclearization is consistent and a repeated pattern of failures to rid North Korea of nuclear weapons, and they should be stopped. Bolton was speaking to reporters in Tokyo ahead of President Donald Trump's arrival for a 4-day visit to Japan. The test is seen as a way of pressuring Washington to compromise without actually causing the negotiations to collapse. Former international Ifeanyi Udeze has described as a good omen the inclusion of Mikel Obi in the Super Eagles 25-man provisional list for the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON, holding between July 21 and July 19 in Egypt. Mikel was recently released by the English Championship side, Middlesbrough, after failing to guide the club to promotion into Premier League in a 6-month loan spell. However, Udeze thinks that the national team would need his service to propel the young blood in the team to give their best for a respectable outing. Udeze said he was satisfied with the names in the recent list of players that would adorn the country's green-white-green jerseys by coach Gernot Rohr. He described the list as a mixture of experience and talent ready to make names for themselves at their maiden AFCON. People from the world of arts and others gathered at Okozo, Anambra State, where they paid their last respect to renowned curator Okuchukwu Enwozo as he was committed to Mother Earth. His final journey to eternity commenced with a requiem mass at his country home, Igbo village, Okozo, in Oyi local government area of Anambra State. ABS correspondent Chibuzo Obidike filed in this report, which is taken from our studio.
Okuchukwu Enwozo, who lived in New York City until 2011 when he moved to Munich, Germany, died of cancer on March 15, 2019. He was described by the New York Times as an influential Nigerian curator whose large-scale exhibitions displaced European and American art from his central position as he forged a new approach to art for a global age, having distinguished his career as a scholar and academic administrator. Consoling the family of Enwozo and the entire Okozo community, Governor Willie Obiano said that the death of Mr. Enwozo is a great loss to all, as he was an important personality to the state and in the world in general, and described him as a great art curator and scholar who during his days represented excellence in all his deeds, which urged others to continuously thrive to be role models. The governor, who was represented by the Anambra State Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Mr. Sidon Adenoba, rated late Okui Enwozo in the class of Chinua Achebe, Ben Enwanwo, Ben Nwabweze, and Pius Okibo, among numerous others who were indisputable national and international figures, asking the family to take heart.
Governor Obiano recognizes that the most important agent of development is the human being. Countries and territories like Hong Kong, South Korea, Taiwan, Japan, Singapore, and Israel have practically no mineral deposits. Yet, they are among the most developed parts of the world. What happened? Their human resources have been trained in such a way that they have been able to squeeze water out of stone.
Earlier during the burial service, a visiting pastor, Williams Marks, noted that death is a race for every mortal, regardless of status, and questioned the preparation of Christians to the heavenly race.
We may look at Okwi and say today, Okwi had gone so soon. Who defines the time? How did you arrive at the answer that Okwi left so soon? When you are done with the market, must you wait till the closure of the market?
In an interview with newsmen, Professor Emeritus at the University of Nigeria Nsukka, El Anasiu, who is also from Ghana, Director of Arab Museum of Modern Art in Morocco, Abdallah Karoum, and Professor of Art History at Princeton University, Chika Okeke Agolo, who all worked closely with late Mr. Enwozo, acknowledged his immense contributions to the Africa art, noting that his work is recognized around the world, promising to sustain their friendship with his family as a way to remembering their close relationship. In their condolence messages, Engineer Ndubisi Okolo and Mr. Anthony Nsofo from Imo State described the disease as a true hero worthy of emulation, as he has stored the world with indelible mark of greatness that will remain on sands of time.
Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any parts of the world by liking our Facebook page. It is at ABS Radio Television. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/ABS Radio TV online. Follow us on Twitter at ABS Radio TV and on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. You can also log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. And now the main points. Anambra government has cautioned against indiscriminate loading and offloading of vehicles on roads. Anambra Police Command has alerted public on military impersonators on roads. Farmers seek protection against Boko Haram insurgents this planting season. And from the foreign scene, we brought you the reports that United States have cautioned North Korea against violating UN resolutions on missile tests. And that's the end of the Breakfast News on ABS Television at this time. Many thanks for watching. My name is Priska Wankwo. Good morning.